Buyer's Brokerage Representation Agreement, page 2. Item number 4, collecting broker's fee from the seller. Buyer may choose to negotiate that the broker fee be paid in whole or in part by the seller as a credit to buyer at closing and or by the seller directly to broker at closing. At buyer's instruction, broker will include either or both of these in the buyer's offer to purchase a property, and broker will help buyer negotiate these with a seller. Broker will not retain any amount from any source that exceeds the amount agreed above. That means when you write your offer in the RPA, you're going to write what commission you would like to collect. The seller can pay all of it, the seller can pay half, and the buyer can pay the other half. Either way, that is the number that you're going to collect. Whatever you put on the brokerage fee, which on page 1, I use the example of 3%. This also states that I will not collect any more than that 3% because that is what the buyer has agreed that I will collect. Item 5, disclosures. Buyer understands that depending on circumstances, it may be necessary or appropriate for broker to act as an agent of both parties for each such transaction. In such event, broker will seek buyer's consent to broker's representation of additional parties as soon as practicable and will obtain the written consent to act form signed by all parties. B. Buyer consents and acknowledges that other potential buyers represented by broker may consider, make offers on, or acquire interest in the same or similar properties as the buyer. Item number 6, broker's efforts. Broker will exercise good faith efforts to A. Locate and present suitable properties to the buyer. B. Tour and prepare detailed analysis of specific properties per buyer's request. C. Help buyer prepare, negotiate, and secure a contract to purchase one or more properties. D. Cooperate with any real estate licensee working with the seller to facilitate and complete the buyer's purchase of the property. And E. Perform other services as needed and requested by the buyer. Those are your duties that you are agreeing upon. Item 7, buyer's representations and duties. A. Buyer agrees to work exclusively with the broker and not with any other broker unless marked otherwise on page 1 at the very top. B. Buyer agrees to furnish broker with all relevant data, records, documents, and other information, including loan pre-approval letter and proof of funds to purchase upon request of broker, and authorize broker to furnish copies to prospective sellers, landlords, optioners, and exchangers. That means the buyer is agreeing to give you a pre-approval letter or proof of funds prior to you showing them properties. So you can give that to the seller when you make an offer on their property. Section C, buyer agrees to be available to examine the properties and responding in a timely manner to communications from the broker. That means the buyer's not going to just sign your BBRA and then disappear, and you're trying to show him properties and he's not making time. He's agreeing to make time for you to show him properties. Section D, buyer agrees to act in good faith to acquire the property and conduct any and all inspections of the property that buyer deems material and or important. Section E, new homes and lot sales. Some sellers, particularly new home subdivisions, open houses, and for sale by owners, will not compensate broker unless the broker makes the visit first with the buyer. If buyer makes a first visit without the broker, the buyer agrees to compensate broker as stated in section 3 under the broker fee. What that means is when there's a new build, you must, as an agent, be present on the first showing. And if you are not and the buyer goes without you and they make an offer, they've already secured a BBRA with you. They just went by themselves, and now you are still due a commission because they signed this BBRA with you. Section A, For best experience, buyer is encouraged to be accompanied by broker on buyer's first visit to the property and to conduct all negotiations for the property in good faith and exclusively through the broker. Buyer understands that signing more than one buyer-broker representation agreement for any overlapping period of time could expose the buyer to liability for paying additional fees. Buyer is not party to any active, exclusive buyer-broker representation agreements. That just states that the buyer understands if he signs this with you and then signs another one with another agent, and you both have shown him the property, that buyer might be responsible for paying a second commission. So line number 35 asks, buyer is party to how many, insert a number, active, non-exclusive buyer brokerage agreements. So if you marked non-exclusive on page 1, you were hoping that the buyer tells you there are no more buyer exclusive BBRAs that I signed, right? But if they tell you I have another one, then you need to write the number 1 in there. For this purpose, we're going to put 0. Section 9, equal housing opportunity. It is the policy of the broker to abide by all local, state, and federal laws prohibiting discrimination against any individual or group of individuals. The broker has no duty to disclose the racial, ethnic, or religious composition of any neighborhood, community, or building, nor whether persons with disabilities are housed in any other home or facility, except that the agent may identify housing facilities meeting the needs of a disabled buyer. Section 10, wire transfer warning. Electronic means of transferring money, which is like a wire transfer, are subject to sophisticated cyber fraud attacks. These attacks are even more prevalent in real estate transactions due to the large sums of money being exchanged. Buyer is advised that broker will not provide electronic transfer instructions by email. Following money transfer instructions contained in an email from any party is inherently dangerous and should be verified. Buyer agrees that if buyer uses or authorizes the use of electronic transfers of funds in a transaction, buyer hereby holds the brokerages, their agents, and their designated title and escrow companies harmless from any and all claims arising out of inaccurate transfer instructions, fraudulent interception of funds, and or any other damages relating to the conduct of third parties influencing the transfer process or stealing funds. Then your buyer is going to sign there. Then we'll go down to Buyer Broker Representation Agreement, page 3. Number 11, Nevada law applies. This agreement is executed in Nevada, and the laws of the state of Nevada will govern its interpretation and effect. The parties agree that Nevada and the county in which the property is located in is the appropriate forum for any arbitration related to this agreement. Section 12, authority and capacity. That the buyer has the legal capacity, full power, and authority to enter into this agreement and consummate the transaction contemplated hereby on buyer's own behalf or on behalf of the party the buyer represents. All buyers executing this agreement are jointly and severally liable for the performance of all its terms. Buyer's obligation to pay broker is binding upon buyer and buyer's heirs, administrators, executors, successors, and assignees. Section 13, additional terms. As of right now, we do not allow you to write any additional terms, so please write N/A for not applicable in this section. Section 14, cancellation. Super important section here, guys. Either party may cancel this agreement effective upon delivery of written notice to the other party unless buyer is under contract to purchase the property. That means this buyer can cancel at any time. All they need to do is send you a written email that says, please release me from this buyer broker agreement. But if they have made an offer, it has been accepted, and you are under contract, they have to complete that escrow with you for you to get paid if they want to buy that property. They can't cancel it with you and then go ahead and buy that property. You're still due that commission. but they can cancel this BBRA at any time. By signing below, buyer and broker agree to the terms set forth in this agreement. In this section, you are going to type the buyer's name, John Smith, and then you're going to type his telephone number, 702-111-2222, right? Then you're going to do his email, johnsmith@gmail.com, right? And then you're going to have him sign it when you sign, and he will sign in this section right here. If there is a second buyer, you will do the same thing, third, fourth buyer as well. Designated licensee, this is your information. So I'm going to put my information right here, my license number, and my telephone number. I'm going to do 702-111-222, and then I will do wendy.schaller@realty1group.com. And then I will sign this section, date and time. And then you're going to fill out the brokerage information, Realty One Group. And your broker's name is always going to be the corporate broker's name, guys. Regardless of which office you're in, where our corporate broker is Mark Otero. You are going to do his license number, B.00371000. And then you will upload it into SkySlope, and that is where Mark will sign it under here. But make sure you put your office address here. Not your home address. You're going to put the office address, 10750 West Charleston Boulevard, number 180. And then we're going to put Las Vegas, Nevada, 89135. And then you can put the office number or your own cell number there. I'm going to put this same cell number here, and then email again, which is my personal email. So you understand, realty1group.com. That is it. And then you type your buyer's name at the bottom. Then you will sign it to them or have them hand initial all 3 pages. Once it's done, you will upload it under pre-contract into SkySlope. And that concludes all 3 pages of the BBRA.